Hey warrior, welcome to today's video in 30 days to end emotional eating. Today we're talking about another component of how to manage an emotional eating urge. Today we're going to touch on stopping reacting to the urge and instead be with it and ... All right. So we all know when we experience an urge, it kind of feels like it takes over our body. And up until you started listening to this series, you may have thought once you experience an urge, there's no turning back. There's nothing you can do, and you have to overeat. You have to eat. You have to binge eat in order to get rid of it. And you may have even enjoyed this to an extent. It may have brought you comfort. It may have eased pain. It may have been the easier option to do. But ultimately, you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and that's why you're here. So how do we start, how do we stop reacting to having a binge urge? So what I mean by this is when you start to feel the urge to binge, you may start to feel anxious. You may get angry. You may start to bash yourself and feel like a failure. You may judge yourself. You may try to negotiate. You may try and do all these things with the urge, about the urge, which actually completely works against your recovery. So when we experience an urge, any emotional reactions, any thoughts, feelings, reactions to the urge, becoming upset with the urge, becoming upset with yourself that it's happening, mentally arguing with yourself. Maybe you debate, maybe it's a discussion about if you're gonna binge or not. Maybe you're constantly analyzing, why is this happening? Why am I doing this? Why is this happening to me? Maybe you're just trying to grin and like power through it and just totally ignore it and pretend that it's not happening. Either way, when you react to an urge, your body also reacts. You're going to tense up. That's going to make the tension of the urge fueled. By having these emotional reactions, you're actually fueling the urge. Remember, the urge is coming from just an evolutionary excess stress response. It is that primal brain, that lower brain that is doing just what it knows how to do, which is like, no, it doesn't, it's a part of the brain that doesn't have any other focus but to keep you alive. And right now, that is what it feels like it needs you to do. So if you do anything that's going to make you more anxious or make you more just inflamed in general, you are going to increase your stress response, which is going to increase the urge. It also more deeply ingrains the pattern of this urge in your brain and perpetuates this habitual response. So you may get more uncomfortable and intense. It makes you want to act on the urge just to make it go away. You're like, I just need this to be over. I just need this to be done. It's too uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And it's like your willpower of trying to resist just taps out. And you're like, I'm just gonna give into it. Or maybe it is something that you've premeditated and you've actually like excited yourself about because you do get a feeling, a boost of serotonin and dopamine when you do eat. So both things are gonna inflame the response and you just want that uncomfortable feeling to go away. The goal is to make the urges comfortable enough that you can dismiss them until they pass. Studies show that the length of time for an urge is somewhere around the length of 15 to 30 minutes. And this is a piece of information that I want you to know because sometimes when we experience the urge, we feel like it's not going to go away. forever. It just feels terrible, and that's all we know, that's all we feel, that's all we see, and we don't think it's ever going to go away. So knowing there is an endpoint can help you sort of take it moment by moment. Now, I'm not saying like countdown clock and like you're sitting there waiting for time to pass, but when we have this knowledge, the most logical approach is to apply that breathing work, that other space in the gap where we strengthen the gap until the wave of the urge kind of reaches its peak, and then we ride that wave until it's just gradually dissipated and the urge is gone. And this happens even if you do not act on the binge. I just want to make that clear. Your mind is going to race, your mind is going to get more anxious, it may feel uncomfortable, especially in the beginning, but you can expect this. You can understand what's happening as it's happening, and that is power. So urges are automatic, but you can control your reaction and you can control your action, just like with anything in life. You always have in your power your ability to control how you react to something. So we don't want to make things worse. How would we make it worse? Engaging with the urge, talking back to it, reasoning with it, fighting it, judging yourself or criticizing yourself for even having the urge when it's not your fault that you're having this urge. It's just what the brain and body naturally do. It's no fault of yours. So blaming yourself is just going to make things worse. Meeting yourself with compassionate support will help soothe you through the discomforting moments. Another thing that would be counterproductive is trying to make the urge go away or just wishing it away. So if you're giving it attention, just like a kid that is, a toddler that's having a temper tantrum in the grocery store and he's kicking and screaming because he wants the candy bar and he can't have the candy bar. And he's just doing what kids do. He's just reacting. For him, his prefrontal cortex is not fully developed yet, and it is nearly impossible for him to regulate that control. And as the parent, you're just like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. We just need to get out of the grocery store without like a meltdown happening and without, more attention drawn to us. So I'm just going to give him the candy bar so he's happy to shut him up and so we can just get out of the store, and then I'll just deal with the repercussions later. So essentially the same thing is happening when you react with stress to an urge and when you act on it by overeating. So as a parent dealing with that child, and listen, I don't have kids. Okay, I'm just going to say that right off the bat. I don't have kids. So to know what it feels like to be a mom while your kid is having a temper tantrum in the middle of the grocery store is something I have yet to experience. But we can work with this analogy. So ultimately, when we indulge that kid, he's just going to keep doing what he does because he knows he's going to get what he wants at the end of that, if he keeps throwing a temper tantrum. Eventually he knows mom's going to hit her limit and I'm going to get that candy bar. So you as an adult with a fully functioned and formed prefrontal cortex can know that not engaging with that temper tantrum that you're essentially having inside of you, the urge, will not fuel it. Will also teach it that if it rears its head and if it gets nasty and loud and kicks and screams, it's still not going to get what it wants. So the goal is to be present and comfortable with that, which will take some practice. But essentially, there are two things going on inside of you. You can be experiencing the chaotic urge and still go about life doing your things and know, okay, this is happening in the background, but I'm in control. I don't listen to my lizard brain, right? I don't react to my lizard brain. I know what's happening and I'm in control, and I'm going to focus on what I'm doing next and what I'm doing next. The less you try to make it go away, the quicker it will. What you resist persists. I know I'm not the first person you've heard say that. What you resist persists. So we're going to look at this urge that's happening over here with detachment. You see what's happening, almost like it's happening to somebody else. You experiencing it, you experience it, but you know you're not involved in it. It's doing its own thing, and you are here doing what you're doing. You are here choosing how you're going to react to this. And so you can choose calm, you can choose groundedness, you can choose peace, you can choose happiness, you can choose elation, you can choose any emotion that you want that's going to serve you, even if this is happening. This is where breathwork and meditation come into play big time, because in meditation, we will be able to observe our thoughts, even the chaotic ones, even the monkey mind, which is our mind that just kind of like, the thoughts just go and it's just always chattering, always just doing what monkeys do and chattering and doing whatever. And not choose to engage it. So that mind can be chattering over here and we're over here doing what we're doing. And we know eventually it's going to calm down. This is a practice. It is something that you need to implement every single day, and you're not going to get it perfect every time. You're going to have moments where you do indulge and you do give in to the urge and you do argue back with it, because we're unlearning a habit of that. But I promise you, by changing your physicality, by moving your body, by removing yourself from the environment you're experiencing the urge in, by changing what you're doing, like if you're sitting at your desk and you're feeling this urge come up, even by getting up and going outside or going up and having a conversation, you will be able to break that urge. It may still be happening, but you are also doing what you can do to passively, peacefully fight back against it. And that's where your warrior comes in, you guys. We know we're going to experience challenge. We know shit's going to get hard. We know that times we're going to be tempted to give in. We're going to be tempted to give up. We know we're going to fall to our knees and we're going to be picking our head up, looking ahead at that road and saying, I have a choice. I can stay down or I can get back up. That is the warrior mindset that we are applying to winning this battle against emotional and binge eating. You hear me? Good. All right, don't forget to check out the worksheet, download the Overeating Nighttime Guide if that is something you're struggling with, and at the end of this 30 days, the $300 savings to the Warrior Evolution 6-month program to release anxiety, disrupt depression, and end emotional eating through movement won't be available. So you have about 2 weeks more to take advantage of it. $300 savings. The program is worth it. It's a 6-month long program. There's group calls. There are videos to get you through every single question that you have, every single moment that you have, and you will build your foundation to nourishing your body through partnership with your body and empowering yourself through your choices throughout the entire program. It is amazing. I'm excited to have you. On that note, tomorrow we're going to discuss stopping acting on the urge. Don't want to miss it. I'll see you then. Bye.